Hi, this is Richard C. I'm a math tutor here at Wyzant, answering a question submitted by a student. This is a question that you would see in a topic called linear programming, but you're not being actually asked to do linear programming. You're being asked to set it up. So I'm just going to get you a little accustomed to some linear programming terminology and show you how to set this up. So we're going to have B is the number of bracelets that will be made, and N is the number of necklaces that will be made. And so right away, we can start putting our constraints down. So the number of bracelets, it has to be greater than or equal to 0. You can't make negative bracelets. And the number of necklaces also has to be greater than or equal to 0 for the same reason. You can't make negative necklaces. So that's a good place to start. And now we'll go up top here. A bracelet requires 10 beads and a necklace requires 20 beads. So 10 times, so for our equation for beads, and that's just to kind of keep notes, keep good notes as you're moving through this. So the beads take 10. So for every bracelet you make, you have 10 beads. And then the necklace, of course, that's longer, so it takes more beads, so 20 beads. And we only have so many beads, 1,000 beads. So that's another inequality. And then the amount of time it takes, 10 minutes and so on. We'll get to that later. But we only, so there's a constraint having to do, we have a limited amount of time. So these are called constraints. All these things up here are called constraints. There's another constraint on time. So there's where the number of beads that we can get is constrained, and the amount of time we have available to work on this project is constrained. So it takes 10 minutes to make a bracelet, and it takes 40 minutes to make a necklace, and that has to be less than or equal to 1,600 because those are the constraints on time. Okay, so we have the number of beads, the number of bracelets, the number of necklaces, the number of beads we have available, and time. So those are our 4 inequalities. So now we want to have something called the objective equation, the objective function, which is what we're trying to maximize or minimize. And usually, what you're trying to do is maximize your revenue. So let's have our objective function. So these are our constraints. And our objective function is here. Which is revenue. So the revenue, this is what we want to maximize. We want to maximize the revenue. So a bracelet goes for $5, so it's $5 for every bracelet. And a necklace is sold for $7.50. Okay, so this is setting up your constraints and your objective function, and then you would go ahead and find the number of bracelets and the number of necklaces that you should make, which would maximize your revenue given these constraints. And that's what linear programming is all about, but we're not actually asked to do that, so I'm not going to do it. because we're not being asked to do it. I think the same student might have submitted another question where we actually have to go ahead and do the linear programming. So you can take a look around for that one if you want to see a better example. Okay, so that's it for this particular question. And hopefully it's just basically a word problem, and you just have to tease out all the constraints and then the objective function. I hope that helped you, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.